upper intermediate. Actually, we are talking about going to extremes, unit 8. So here, if we focus on the main topics that this unit talk about is relative clauses. And as you see here in test your grammar, okay, in the first page of the unit, they give you just like some of these words, okay, and then they want you like to put it in the blanks, okay, to blanks to fit the meaning of the sentence. But before start answering this exercise, you have to know what is the relative clauses. And before we start with relative clauses, what is a clause? Clause basically it is uncompleted sentences. That mean, okay, it is missing one or maybe like two of the parts of the sentences. That is why we don't say a sentence, we say clause. Okay, that mean when I say this clause, okay, that mean the meaning is not completed. Okay, the person who understand or the person who listen to you doesn't understand what you mean. Okay, so that is why we say this is a clause but not a sentence. This is the same thing when we talk about relatives clauses. That means it is not a full sentence, it is just a group of words but doesn't give us a full meaning. Okay, so relative clauses, we have like two types of relative clauses. We have defining clause and not defining clauses. Okay, but before that, what's mean relatives? Basically the relatives clauses that when we use question words, but here it is not a question words. Basically here it is used as a pronoun. Okay, so that mean, for example, when you use which or who or that or whom, these it is not used. Okay, if you see here in the book, okay, these basically it is not used as a question word. No, basically it is used as a pronoun, okay, to give us maybe like a necessary details or it is unnecessary details. يعني بما معناه احنا نستخدم these question words, okay, اللي هي which who what, which is we use to ask by using this question, but we use this, okay, to give us like the same meaning when we say just like maybe like a complete meaning, okay, in the sentence, or give extra information. So this is the same thing. Okay, so if you look here, like who usually is a question word. It's used for like to ask about a person who did this or who's like the doer of the action, while which to ask about, okay, here for example you have many options, so you have to pick one. Where for place, what actually used for like a verb or noun, while when for the time, and who is for possessive. Okay, but here we don't use it for speak like for question. Here use it as a sentence, as you see here. Like if you look to these sentences, there's no sentence here have a question word. So that means that we use these question or these pronouns that was considered as a pronoun to give us like, okay, a meaning in this sentence. So that is why we will talk about the relative clauses. Okay, and we have two types of relative clauses. We have defining, okay, defining clauses, okay, while we have here non-defining clauses. Defining clauses that tell us which noun we are talking about, so that means it is necessary to put it in the sentence. Okay, because if we drop it, it is not understood. The sentence will not give us like a meaning, okay, a full meaning of a sentence. For example, a defining relatives tell you like which noun that we are talking about, and it is necessary to mention it in the sentence. That is why we don't need like to put a comma. For example, I like the woman, okay, I like the woman who lives next door. So if I say I like the woman, it is like understood, like for example it is really hard to understand what the which women they are talking about. That is why they put who lives next door. That means this information is necessary to mention in a sentence. Okay, that is why we don't put like a comma. So when you give a necessary clause by using these, okay, relative clauses, like by using which or who or that means it is really necessary and we cannot delete it, so you don't put comma. يعني in a brief, okay, and I'm gonna translate it in Arabic. إذا عندك هذه relative clauses اللي عندك which, who, that, basically إذا أني I need like to mention it, okay, يعني أحتاج بأن نخليها بالجملة وأختصر بدل من أني أقول okay I like that woman, okay, or I like the woman, okay, she lives next door. This is gonna be like a weird and is not a proficient like to write such a sentence. So that is why I put it in one sentence by using this like a relatives clauses. Okay, so what I say, I like the woman who lives next door. So that means it's really necessary. When I deleted this, it's just like the meaning is gonna be awkward. Okay, for example, um, uh, even if you talk about like research or you talk about experiment, okay, if you don't like, if you need like to add it a necessary detail, okay, or necessary like maybe unnecessary description, so here you need like to add this without putting a comma. While if it is non-defining clause, that is just like a give extra information, it is not necessary. So if you delete it in the sentences, keep the same meaning, and the meaning is just like it is understood by others. For example, I live in London. Who basically doesn't know London? Everyone know London, okay? So I live in London. I give extra information to understand. Okay, just extra information, but the meaning is already understood. So here what I say, I live in London, which has some fantastic parks. So these, if I delete it, okay, this clause, the meaning is right, okay, and it's correct, okay. So when you give extra information, you have to put comma and you put like the relative clause, but it is not, you don't need like if it is necessary, and it is just give us like very important details about the sentence or explanation about the sentence or description about the sentence. So you have to keep it without putting a comma, okay. And we have like a subject and object, okay, clauses by using the relative clauses, okay. For example, if it is like if it is just like we ask or we talk about the subject, the doer, like that's the woman, okay, that's the woman. So here I'm talking about the woman, so here is gonna be like, okay, who is gonna be as what, as like a subject, so we use it who instead of whom. So what we say, who bought my car, so here subject. But if it is like the relative clauses as object، يعني تكون كأنما موقعها مفعول به بالجملة. مثلا that's the flat, the flat is like the departments اللي هي الشقة، okay. That I was looking for, that I was looking for. فهنا that خليتها اوكي because وخليت بعدها اللي هو يكون pronoun اللي حتى تعبر لي عن اوكي who's the doer of the action. فهنا اللي موقع الفلات بالجمله هنا يكون object، اوكي. فهنا شو نقول سوري، موقعها فلات في الجمله هي اللي already تكون السبجكت، بس الاي تكون هو الاوبجكت، لان هو من هو necessary details اللي هو the flat. But who's like looking for is like the person, the speaker, okay. Combining sentence, like for example, this is another details like when we talk about relative clause. For example, this is Sophia, she bought my car, okay. So instead of just say these simple sentence, I say Sophia is the person who bought my car. Sophia is the person who bought my car. So where's the subject Sophia? So that is why I don't need to add it any details, any like okay, any pronoun to give us the meaning of to give us the meaning of subject. So Sophia is the person who bought my car. While if it is object like this is that it is the flat I was looking for it, okay, so what I say that is the flat that I was looking for it. لأن هنا الحكي هو مو كان على me, no, it's just like about the flat, the departments, okay, الشقة. So that is why مدام هو السبجكت يكون موجود فأنت بدك تحكي على الأوبجكت اللي هو I, okay, فخلينا لها بعدها لازم يكون personal pronoun. Okay, is that clear? Okay, so like in speaking or even in writing, sometimes we know we don't need like to put these pronoun in relative clause. Like for example, and instead, for example, here say that's the flat I was looking for, because this sentence is a complete. If I say which or that is just like is give us like extra, okay, and especially in writing when you write academically like okay use more brief way but should be clear, okay. So but if it is non-defining clause, like for example I borrowed him a glass of wine which he drank at once, this is a kisra information, so in this way we cannot delete it. يعني هنا من يكون المعنى واضح بدي أضيف أني necessary details، ممكن أنا أحذف which or who or that، بس من بدي أحكي على extra information فهنا أنا مجرد أخليها كوما and then like okay نخليها تكملة الجملة. So لهذا السبب أني ما يصير أحذف which. Okay. Okay, which all of us we know that this is often for example basically it is used in a speech, okay, and it is used which when we talk for person or for a human or non-human. But when we talk about who it is referred to the people for human only, which it is used basically here here that pardon me that here used instead of which، يعني ممكن is interchangeably، ممكن تخلي that وممكن تخلي which both of them, okay، بس الذات هنا ممكن استخدمها يعني basically استخدمها for person or also for non-human، يعني استخدمها العاقل وغير العاقل. which also it is the same thing, okay, but for who I use it for people only، استخدمها للأشخاص فقط. while which it is used here to introduce maybe it is just like okay it's used for non-defining مثل ما قلنا قد تكون okay اللي يكون وجودها unnecessary، لكن that it is used specifically when you talk about defining اللي هو يكون استخدامها necessary. بس which or that it is the same thing، نفس المعنى. Okay, for example this is the car that or which I paid whatever. This is the car for which I paid, it is the same thing but it is just like we use for everyday speech or it is used for formal اللي هي بشكل رسمي أو لغة الشارع بصورة عامة. And here like whose we have, okay, and whom. Whose basically it is used to mean of whom, okay، اللي تعطينا معنى أكثر like للتملك، okay, and usually it is used to refer to like okay for people as well. For example this is Jack, his sister is staying with us, so we say this is Jack whose sister is staying with us. So whose that mean is referred to the Jack, what, to the Jack's sister. While here whom is the object should be all the time is the object of who، يعني مستحيل أن بدي أسأل على الفاعل أستخدم whom it is used specifically with object، who it is used specifically with subject, okay. For example this is the person I sold my car to, which is used, okay, or this is the person to whom I sold my car. يعني انت من بدك تكتب academically اكيد راح تستخدم second way, okay, to write such similar sentences. Okay, and this is all we have to do about relative clause here in your book. It's just like focus on this, so I encourage you like to answer this exercise, because it's just like help you to test your grammar. Okay, and also I want you like to do number 3, because sometimes when we have to ask about like give details about the verb, we can delete, okay, delete who or which or that, and then we put ing to the verb. Like for example, the woman standing next to him is his wife. Basically this sentence is mean the woman, okay, the woman who stands next to him is his wife. بس احنا حتى نختصر, because in academic writing or informal writing we love to write in a brief, okay, but should be that the meaning it is clear. Okay, and here, while here it is the same thing. Okay, so I either use ing, or if we have a passive voice إذا كان عندنا مبني المجهول فراح نستخدم ed. And you can have like a clear like explanation beside the PowerPoint that I showed you. You can also read it on page 71. Okay, also this book is just focused on the, or this chapter basically, it is focused here on using the adjectives that it use ed or ing. So what is the difference if you want to like to use, okay, a sentence, okay, but this sentence have ed or ing, or this adjective has ed or ing? So what is the difference here? Little bit we're gonna talk about this. I want to like to share with you, okay, the adjectives that is end with ed, and I don't mean like all the adjectives, only like some kind of adjectives, and sometimes the verb it's used as adjectives. Okay, for example, if it is the adjectives اللي هي الصفات تحتوي على ed, okay, so that mean what? Generally describe emotion that tell us how people feel. So the people is not the influencer, but how is just like is influenced by, so how the people, okay, feel. For example, if I say, okay, she is very tired, she's very tired because she worked very hard. So here I cannot say with the ing, because she is just like describe how she feel. Okay, so when we have like a adjectives describe emotion, so we put ed. For example, I'm interested in this study, I'm interested in this study. So that means is like how I feel okay, interested to this study, but I'm not the influencer. يعني مو أنا المؤثر، وإنما شيء ما هو اللي أثر بي الستدي هي by itself. But if I say this study is interesting، فهذه معناها من هو المؤثر؟ who's the influencer؟ أكيد اللي هو study بصورة عامة. Okay. أما إذا كانت مثل ما قلنا adjectives that already have ing, so it is generally describe the thing that causes the emotion. يعني ده تعطينا وصف للشيء اللي هو سبب، اللي هو شنو هو the influencer اللي سبب هذا التأثير. Okay, for example, this is a confusing, okay, this is a confusing situation. This is a confusing situation. Okay, that mean what? It's just like the situation is like make the people feel what? Confused. Okay, so the book are boring, the books are boring. Okay, so here it's just like describe the characteristic of this book. يعني بما معناه، ملخص بما معناه. When we try, okay, let's just make here to arrive to conclusion. Okay, basically يعني بما معناه من استخدم ال adjectives that have ed describe a person one feeling, how he feel or she feels about it, the emotion. Okay, while if I use ing it's just like it describe the characteristic of the thing. يعني شنو characteristics الصفات الشيء المراد وصفه. Okay, that causes this feeling: boring, confusing, interesting, excited, surprising. Okay, so الفرق بيناتهم اللي تحتوي على الاي دي فهي توصف emotion اللي هو للشخص الشعور حيال الشيء هذا. While if we have ing it's just describe basically it's just like describe the characteristic of this thing because he is it is like the influencer. Okay, is that make sense? فهذا هو الفرق ما بين ال ing وما بين ال ed. يعني ال present participle وال past participle اللي هي اللي تحتوي على ال ed. Here, like in reading and speaking, I like recommend you like to read it. Okay, it's just like help you to improve your skills. Okay, but here is just use some words that give us, like for example, to use as like adverbs, like we have here, like absolutely. Okay, this is used as adverbs. We have seriously. We have, like for example, some verbs like actually. Okay, or for example frankly or fortunately. هذه كلها تسمى adverbs اللي نستخدمها كadverbs. If you look here on page 73. Okay, so this is basically, it is not adjectives but it is adverbs اللي هي ظرف. فهذه تتخلى شنو is just like preceded the adjectives. يعني دائما يكون موقعها قبل الصفة. Completely. Okay, okay, the situation is completely dangerous. Okay, dramatically. Exactly, extremely, okay, profusely, probably, okay, really, seriously, stupidly. فهذه دائما احنا نخليها قبل الصفة، فتكون هي adjectives ظرف وليست صفة. So yeah, this is the most thing that this unit is talk about. Okay, and it's just like talk how to use, basically how to use the adjectives, the ed and ing. Okay, how to use the relative clauses that we use really often in speaking, and also talk about how to differentiate between the adjectives and the adverbs. Thank you.